everybody. Welcome to another episode of Free Cake. I'm Howard.
And I'm Kwande.
And a bit of housekeeping. The This is Kanye video is at 57.
Yeah, I saw that.
57 views. So thank you to everybody who's watched it so far.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a super huge number, especially in YouTube terms.
Still, though, I feel like that's like our highest one.
No, it is definitely. And like, if we could push that to 100, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Show everybody.
Yeah. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Roseanne and tweets that she made recently, and then also the new NFL national anthem policy. But first, Roseanne was tweeting, what was it, last week? Or was it earlier?
It was the end of May. I think it was like, I don't know exactly the date, but I know it was like the last couple weeks of May.
Gotcha.
So last month sometime.
Okay. So yeah, she tweeted, and it was a racist tweet in which she compared Obama and Valerie Jarrett to an ape, pretty much from Planet of the Apes.
Is it disrespectful to quote it? Because I have it right here.
No, go ahead. I mean, it's disrespectful regardless, but just go ahead and quote it.
So she wrote, "The Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby equals VJ," and that's Valerie Jarrett.
Gotcha.
But I wouldn't say that's funny. You know, like, I think anything that's racial is kind of, you don't mess with that.
Yeah.
You know, people say like Jewish jokes or, you know, jokes against Korean people,
yeah,
Asian people, whatever. Some of them can be funny, but like, I feel like this was just kind of like blatant disrespect.
Oh yeah, that was definitely like blatant racism.
Like, who just goes out and says that out of nowhere? You know,
yeah.
Like, nobody had a conversation about this lady. Nothing happened with her within recent time period or anything like that.
Yeah, like she wasn't popping off in the news. She didn't say like as Donald Trump or nothing. She was just like living her life, right?
And all of a sudden, here comes Roseanne Barr, and she just posts that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what I think is crazy is like there's so many people who see stuff on Twitter on a daily basis. You know, you think you could just say that and just slide it in and like,
oh yeah, like,
let's see what people think about this, you know? Like,
well, exactly, and I think people are bold about it because you think about how Donald Trump tweets crazy shit all the time.
Right. Like,
always sitting on the toilet taking his shit and tweeting crazy shit. Like, so I think that emboldens people to be like, oh, well, he's not saying blatant racist stuff like that, but like, he tweets dumb stuff regularly.
Well, and you look at like, you know, back to when he was running for president, you know, in his rallies and everything, people were being way disrespectful, shoving like minorities out of there, like cussing at him, hitting on him, calling him this and that. Like one person, I saw a video, he straight up said, "F Obama, F that N-word," you know, like what? Like, that's acceptable at a rally? Like, you look at the ones in the past, everybody's respectful, you know.
Yeah.
Some people might boo, some people might protest outside, but nobody goes in there. Like, that's like buying a ticket to someone, like to a band or something that you don't like, just to go and talk shit on that band while you're at the concert.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, you just wasted your money doing that.
Yeah.
But in reversal, you wasted your time.
Yeah.
You could have kept your opinion to yourself at that point.
Exactly. And it's just like, it's a weird thing. And not only that, but it's like you're a high profile person who just had their show come back on air and like it's high profile and doing really well. Like, why would you even jeopardize that by saying something stupid? And then she kind of took over the shit because she apologized for it, but then you did it.
Like, you still did it.
Like,
it's like if you were to say something while someone was drunk, and then they come back and they're like, "Oh, I said that. I'm sorry." Like, you still said it. You know, you probably feel that way deep inside. You know,
no, she definitely feels that way. And the funny thing is that, like, after she apologized, then she later on tried to say that it was because she had taken some Ambien. And then, like,
what's some of the people blaming drugs and shit? And like, Kanye was like, "I was on opioids."
Yeah.
She's like, "I was on Ambien." You know, like, someone's gonna be like, "I was on heroin. I was on crack cocaine.
I was on meth."
It's the same idea, man. That shit is crazy, man.
Yeah, like, I don't, like, that doesn't pass, right, for, like, regular people. Like, I can't, like, take a crap on my desk at work and be like, oh man, I just did so much meth.
Yeah. I was out of my mind, man. Yeah. Forgive me. My apologies. And go on about your day.
Yeah.
Your job, like.
Exactly. So, like, kind of to ABC's credit, I guess, they did cancel the show. Yeah. Like, really quickly.
They actually, I heard that they had, so the first season was out, right?
Yeah, the first season was out, yeah.
So they had to actually plan a second season. I don't know if they started filming it, but they planned a second season.
I don't think they have filmed it yet.
But, the fact that they had another season lined up, and then they're like, nope, we need to just drop this. Like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm going to give ABC a backhanded compliment because they did cancel it quickly. Mm-hmm. But then they also gave a show to her in the first place, where she's already tweeted like racist things before.
Yeah, like you said, she has a history of being like that, being, displaying her bigotry.
Yeah, exactly, and she has a history of it, and like there's a picture of her dressed as Adolf Hitler with a pan of cookies, like cookie people, and they're all burnt and like bloody and stuff. Just like how like they burn Jews like back in when they tried to genocide them. So
that's
like
horrible.
Like like that's not even funny. Like obviously that's blatant racism, right?
And I was only laughing because like that's like wow, that's
it's so far extreme. Like you can't even believe that like somebody actually did that, but she did. Like, and it's like how do you like so from ABC's perspective. You knew exactly what you were going to get into with her because she told you who she was.
Right.
She is out there. She shows you who she is, and then and maybe they expected that, and that's why they canceled it so quickly. Mm-hmm. Was that like okay? We were hoping this like wasn't ever going to happen because it was a big hit. And we really like getting money.
Yeah, who doesn't? But at what cost?
Yeah, like, exactly.
I mean, because ABC could have had their whole reputation shattered, and they have a bunch of different shows. Daytime television, primetime shows. That are real big hits.
And they have sports. Like right now, the NBA Finals is only on ABC.
So like affiliates, I think even Disney does some stuff on there.
Yeah, because Disney owns ABC.
Yeah.
So a lot of Disney movies are on there. Marvel shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on there. So like it represents so much because it is owned by Disney, and Disney is such a big brand now.
Yeah.
So and especially with Disney kind of being like the family oriented brand, it's like I understand why Disney was like, okay, well, we're just going to have to, nip this in the butt and just get rid of them now.
What's crazy to me about that, though, is like Disney has like this whole diverse kind of culture now. You have tons of different types of people in Avengers. You have different characters in the Disney movies. Like, you got Coco, that movie that came out. And so it's like you have this big, like, Goliath of a company that represents so much and so much diversity that some people within the organization feel like they gotta voice their opinion and be ignorant to the fact that some people are different, and that's okay. Like it doesn't matter what you look like; it matters what you can do and who you prove yourself to be to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you want to prove yourself to be like somebody ignorant, go ahead, do what you want, because then that'll happen to you. Like your show will get canceled, or you'll get fired.
Exactly.
Like, you'll be kind of cast out because. It's like, it's a new day and age, man. Like, we're going backwards in history, so people want to. But it's like, how else are we going to evolve as a people if we don't pass that?
Yeah, and like, in this age of mob mentality, which can be good and bad, you can't expect to say something online and be a prominent person without people coming after you. Right? Like, you have to be thoughtful in what you're saying. Just like a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Kanye, it's like you're in a position where you have to think about what you're saying first. Like if I say something off color right now, nobody's gonna really care, right? Because I'm nobody.
Our audience is like this big.
Yeah, exactly. But when your name is the show that reaches 18 to 20 million people.
Like her name is the exact same as the show too.
Yeah.
So that's stuck with her. That's like a red tag.
Yeah, exactly. And it sucks too because like I heard good things about the show. Like I heard people really like it. It's really good.
Yeah, I was actually excited to start watching it, because I remember seeing episodes when I was a kid. I never understood the full context of every episode. But I remember hearing the theme song, seeing the actors and actresses and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shoot, they're bringing it back.
Like,
but after this, it's like, fuck that, I'm not watching this shit.
And it's like, and it took an interesting position, because in a world where like media could be like hyper liberal, it was cool to see a show represent the other half, right? People who were Trump supporters, people who were middle America and working class, and just kind of like give them some representation, because like you can get stuck in your echo chamber.
Right.
When you surround yourself with like-minded people, then that's all you hear.
Right.
And I think that was kind of like a problem with the election, is that like a lot of like-minded people were in their echo chambers and just thought Hillary was the only way. And I think she's a better way than Trump for sure.
Right.
But like they weren't hearing the concerns from people in the middle of America and what they thought, and some of the more practical reasons that Trump appealed to them. Yeah, there's definitely some white supremacist KKK guys who are like, oh yeah, racism.
Right.
I'm voting for that guy. But like there were other people too who had practical reasons, who like, even though it was complete bullshit, you can tell by Trump, because like Trump doesn't have a poker face.
Yeah.
But like people believe him anyway when he said like he would bring jobs back, and like he would reform Obamacare to make it like more affordable for middle class people.
Right.
Like those are things that sound good. I mean, it was complete BS, but like he made those promises, and those are things that appeal to a lot of people. And I just think people get stuck in that echo chamber where they don't hear that. They just hear other liberals saying liberal stuff to them.
Right. Well, and like, people are going to only point out the things that they like, that they want to hear.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, even like the way Trump explains things, he kind of like goes in a circle, and he just keeps going in a circle about it.
A nonsensical circle.
And so, I mean, I get it. You have someone. I'm not saying he's unintelligent. I mean, obviously he's intelligent. He became president.
Either he's smarter than we give him credit for, or he just had the best campaign managers ever.
Right. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's a simpleton by any means, but you have someone who's saying things in simple terms, and that everybody can understand, that a certain group of people, if not a big majority of people, can agree with and identify with, and like, I see that guy in myself. Then of course there's going to be tons of people rallying behind him and everything like that. But you can't have, like, you have a big majority versus Roseanne Barr, who is just one person who decided to post that, and then she has to deal with the repercussions of it.
Yeah, and she has to deal with the repercussions of not just herself, but everybody that worked on that show, right?
So you got all the employees, the boom mic guy, the
like,
lighting guy, they have to find a new job.
Like all these people who were collecting paychecks from this, and like there's people on Twitter saying like, hey, I feel bad for the crew, and I saw some people come out and say, oh, who cares? They already got a season of checks. I'm like, that's kind of like not the right way. Like, John Goodman and like a bunch of that cast is probably going to be okay, right?
Yeah,
like
they're established.
They'll land other gigs, but like for the lower guys, the craft service people who bring the food, for the PAs, for the cameraman and the boom mic guys, like you're saying, and like, what about them? Like, they're not guaranteed another shot.
They got a family at home. Like she like screwed it up for everybody.
Exactly, and like their checks are not 1/16 of what Roseanne and what the rest of the cast is making, just because they're not important.
Right.
So like they may got a season worth of checks, but what if a check is only $4,000?
Right.
Like, or $5,000? Like that wasn't enough for you to just like, oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and retire now. Like I just brought in bank. Like it's like it it doesn't work like that. And so like
that's like someone coming in and saying, "Oh, you know what? We're actually gonna fire you this quarter."
Yeah.
And, all right. Well, now I gotta go find another job. Like
yeah,
next
exactly.
week, you know, like it's not even payday today, and you're telling me this.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's like there's a lot smaller people who got hurt in the aftermath of this, and like I think they deserve sympathy. Like like I said, the other people may not, like the cast and maybe even like the directors and writers, because they'll land something else.
Right.
But those smaller people are like, well, shit. Now I have to figure out something else and find a job.
Right.
And the other thing too is that the president of ABC is a black woman. So like, why would you tweet something about black women and looking like apes as when the president is a black? You don't think she's like, oh, well, get rid of this shit?
Yeah,
like
that's not okay.
Yeah,
and I think regardless if it was someone who's black, someone who's Hispanic, Asian, whatever, it could have been any type of racial defamation. You know, and same thing would happen. Same thing.
Oh, definitely. Like it's the fact that you're being discriminatory and outwardly outward bigot.
Yeah.
Like you can't. You just that's not acceptable. Be a bigot in your house.
Right.
At very minimum, if you have to be a bigot,
you can write whatever, all the hateful stuff you want in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you need an outlet for your bigotry, keep your bigot journal. It can say bigot journal on it, just don't let anybody find it.
Right.
And you just put all your hate comments in there. Like you just don't be outwardly racist.
Right.
At bare minimum.
Yeah.
If you can't be a good person, like just hide it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It goes with like having manners, and being polite. Like I feel like a lot of people, they want this, they want it now. There's a lot of memes about like this is the type of lady who calls to ask or who wants to talk to your manager.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that. Like we have that mentality. We want it now, and if we can't get it now, then we're gonna talk to somebody so we can get what we want. And it's like you can't live like that, because then you have people saying stuff that they feel like they can say.
Yeah.
Like that guy who went in the coffee shop in New York and was like, "You can't be speaking Spanish over here," and stuff like that. Like, okay, well, how about you learn Spanish?
Yeah.
You only know English. That's
like,
ignorant right there.
Well, it's just like they can speak. I haven't seen the video, but he wasn't even speaking Spanish to the guy, right? He was speaking Spanish to somebody else. So it's like he can say whatever he wants in Spanish.
Yeah, that's just insecurity, right? They're talking about me. Like, nobody's saying nothing. Nobody even cares about me.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a language police.
Yeah.
If you're worried about it like that, go learn goddamn Spanish.
Right.
Like,
yeah, and like I think it's funny because some people, like, I don't know if she did this for attention or like, she's like, I'm gonna just hang this whole show up real quick. But like you're already a big figure in television because of this show.
Yeah.
And then you go and screw it up like that, and you have to have people come forward and apologize for you and like explain that their company doesn't represent any of your beliefs and values. Like you had to put so much more work for those people who are higher up that have to apologize for you. You've wasted so many people's time doing that.
Yeah.
You've wasted energy.
Yes.
You've exhausted people's emotion. You know, that's just a lot that comes with it. And I just think it's funny because you had so many people come and apologize and say, have responses. Like CNN had a response. Fox probably had a response. Tons of different networks have responses. Then you have the president who has his response. And he doesn't even make it about the thing. He makes it about himself.
Well, that's one thing like Trump is good at, is making anything about himself. Like if he can find literally anything that could possibly be turned around about how he's doing such a great job, and how amazing he is, and how he has the best words.
He needs to get a third hand, so it's just always like this to him real quick.
Seriously, like he's good at that. But yeah,
I even have what he said right here. He says he wrote, Bob Iger of ABC called Valerie Jarrett to let her know that, quote, ABC does not tolerate comments like those, and he ends the quote right there, and then he's like, G, he never called Donald J. Trump to apologize for the horrible statements made and said about me on ABC. Maybe I just didn't get the call. Like, what? I doubt that.
Like,
first of all.
Yeah, like it's not about that, right? It's about him, about a group of people being like just discriminated against. Like,
right.
You can't. Well, that's the thing. Like, for 1 second, you just can't be like, well, that was a shitty thing she did.
Right.
Like, that was bad.
Yeah,
like,
just, I mean, like, put your ego aside, you know, and who owes you an apology? I feel like nobody owes anybody an apology unless you really did something wrong to them.
Yeah.
Or to a specific group of people.
Yeah.
And so for him to come and twist it and just be
you
didn't say sorry to me either. Like, no one cares, man.
And the terrible things, like, people are saying about him, it's just news.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, for real. Anybody can say something about it's like a liberal group. Oh, it's on Fox 13. It's a conservative group. It's on CNN.
It's like, oh, well, Donald Trump paid $130,000 for sleeping with a porn star, and they're like, well, they said such horrible things about me. And
yeah,
like,
for real.
Well, but you paid Michael Cohen to pay Stormy Daniels, so.
And you know what's funny about that? So I think so this is kind of off topic, but I think that's funny, the whole Stormy Daniels situation.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, oh, that's whatever. It's his personal life. Nobody needs to get involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, like years ago, Clinton was in office and he got in trouble with Monica Lewinsky.
I mean, like if he's gonna get impeached for having an affair with Monica Lewinsky, then like Donald Trump having an affair with Stormy Daniels is just as important.
Yeah.
Like it's plus all the other like Russian things going on. Like
you're talking about loyalty. You can't be loyal to your wife. You can't be loyal to your country because you're in bed with the Russians.
Yeah.
That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, God, he's so bad. Like, it's like, at least like, you know, Richard Nixon had the dignity to like walk away.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, like, I've had my time. You guys do what you need to do.
No, he's like, when shit hit the fan, he was out. Like, I'm leaving. But like, Donald Trump is just too stupid, I guess, to even consider that. So,
it's like he's. So I was watching Saturday Night Live, and Alec Baldwin plays him sometimes. He's like, I'm a TV president. Yeah. And that's funny, but it's also kind of true. Like, you know, he hasn't had to really struggle. You know, I mean, he's probably struggled like majorly financially, like not like the rest of the people in the world. You know, like, oh, I don't know where to put this building. Like, you know, it's about $500 million more than I need. You know? And just stuff like that. You know, so it's like he kind of like lives in this whole bubble. Yeah, where he thinks anything's acceptable and it's all about him. And look what I did. Hey, Dad, look what I did. Mom, look what I did. Yeah. Hey, America, look what I did. And it's like,
oh yeah, it's all about validation. And like going back to like Roseanne and what you're saying is that everybody feels entitled. Mm-hmm. And it reminds me of this funny Louis C.K. joke where he was on a plane with a guy. And the stewardess over the phone announced that the Wi-Fi was down for the flight. And this guy just freaked out. And he was like, oh my God, this is the worst flight. How can the Wi-Fi be down? And then he was like, Louis C.K. is like, oh wow, what the world owes this man that the Wi-Fi is down. You are flying in a plane and sending signals to space and coming back down.
So you know how it works. And he's like, how can you be mad about something and then you think the world owes you didn't even know existed?
Yeah, exactly.
For real though, and it's so true, man. Like you go anywhere, airports, coffee shops, restaurants, even man. Like some people, like I'll use an example. Okay, like let's say we go to a drive-through, right? Yeah. You're the patient one. I'm the impatient one. Yeah. So I'm sitting there. You know, we order our food. Yeah. We go up to the window. We're like, hey, can we get some sauces? Yeah, okay. We think they put it in the bag. We drive off, and then they're like, oh, there's no sauces in here? Yeah. Man, screw these guys. I'm never going back here ever. This is the worst experience I've ever had. I'm going to write a Yelp review. Yeah. You guys no stars, you know, like.
For real.
We have ketchup at home. We can go buy ketchup. You can make ketchup if you really want to. You know?
Like, that's true. Like, one time, like, we didn't have honey mustard, so I was like, I'm going to Google how to make honey mustard. And so it was literally like mustard, honey, and like a little bit of mayonnaise. And I was like, and so I made honey mustard.
For real though, man, like it's like all the problems we complain about are so simple. You know? Like this one, like she could have kept that shit to herself.
She really could have.
And I would have
not messed it up with everybody.
No problems would have been had, you know, but everybody's gonna have some type of opinion they feel like they gotta boast, you know. Yeah. If it's a positive one, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
you know?
There's nothing wrong with spreading positivity, but like in the world today, it's like there's so much negativity and there's so much like extremism, like, and I want to do a topic on this sometime, but like in the general gist of like, there's a vast majority that's in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. In the middle, some people lean a little bit left and some people lean a little bit right, but nobody's all the way over here on the left and nobody's all the way over here on the right, except for like a fringe group of people.
Right.
But there are the ones that are the loudest, and they're the ones who just make the left and the right just hate each other so much. Mm-hmm. But if the large majority of people who are in the middle, they just lean a little bit this way and a little bit that way, just talked, then people realize, oh, wait, we're not that far apart, really. Like, we could actually work together. But we just let the people out here talk for us.
Yeah, it's like the gang mentality, man.
Yeah.
Talk to the big homie, he'll tell you what's up.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? You have your own mind.
Yeah, exactly. You have a voice, too. And that's the one thing, personally, like, I've been trying to deal with is the fact that, like, that I am in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. And I think, personally, I probably lean a little bit right. But that doesn't mean that like I don't understand views from the left, and that doesn't mean we can't collaborate to make something work.
Right. And like you said, it's all about communication, you know, and with that communication, those mature conversations that people are like, we're adults. We're supposed to act like adults. We can have adult conversations and not get upset. You just have to put your ego aside and talk about your differences. Yeah. You know, I mean, like there's a lot of stuff that I don't agree with on either side.
Yeah.
But I understand why they believe that.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
Why they feel that way, and it's same with like religion. You know, I'm not a religious guy, but if you want to do that, that's cool. I understand why you do it.
Yeah.
You know, or any other topic out there.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not gonna be a fan of everything because then I'd end up having to be in everything.
Yeah.
You know, but I respect it all.
Yeah, exactly. And like one thing I want to bring up about this topic is that people who came to Roseanne's defense, like, oh, she's just a comedian and like it's just a joke.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
well, like how she had said her joke was just a joke and it was in bad taste. Like,
yeah.
I believe anything can be funny, but there's also a time and place for things, and sometimes that time and place is neither. Like there is none.
Yeah, like I think some things are in bad taste, right? Like you can have, like, for example, like Samantha Bee. She recently got in trouble because on her show she called Ivanka Trump the C word, and if you're not sure what the C word is, it rhymes with hunt. And like she and that joke was in bad taste, right? Like going out and calling people that is not something you should probably do.
Right.
But
like, I mean, think about it. You don't know what people are capable of. I'm not going to go around and call everybody MF.
Yeah, exactly. But like that, I think that's an example of a joke being in bad taste,
right? And
just like, you know, being offensive and being in bad taste, and like, you know, being funny on depending on who you are, right?
Right.
But this is a joke that is just blatantly racist. Mm-hmm. There is no punchline to it. Right. There's nothing funny about it. It's just, I'm a bigot and I'm gonna pick this woman out of nowhere who's just, you know, at home watching Scandal or something and just, you know, call her out for no reason.
Right.
Like, and be racist about it. Like, you know, you did something wrong. Mm-hmm. There are consequences to those actions.
Right. Yeah, and it's almost like the fact that people even came to defend her at all is like, no, you shouldn't even be the one to defend her. She should defend herself.
Yeah.
Because she's the one who said it.
Yeah.
And even with her defense, you know, she still said it, you know, so it's out there. Like you said, you know, like she took this person, took this comparison, was like, here you go.
Yeah.
She wasn't like, haha, just kidding. She wasn't like, it kind of looks like. You know,
it was just, like, and it wasn't even like a clever joke or anything. It was just flat out racism.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
Goddamn Ambien, man.
Yeah.
Stay away from
Ambien. Like, Ambien needs to go back and do some testing because maybe it does cause racism. We just don't know it yet.
They didn't work out that placebo key.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I just feel bad for those people who worked on the show, like the little guys who got stepped on. But,
yeah.
Hopefully they'll land something else. In other news, there's a new NFL policy where. So I guess I should back up. So last year and the year before that, Colin Kaepernick started a thing where he started kneeling because he was protesting pretty much America about the black violence against black people. Because there have been multiple people being shot or just
some type of police brutality.
Yeah, police brutality. Yeah, exactly. Against black people, and he took a stand against that, and then that just immediately just split up the country. A lot of people being like, "Oh, he's disrespecting the flag," and
what about the troops?
Yeah, he's disrespecting the military and all that. And now the NFL, having dealt with this for a couple of years now, institute a policy where if you are going to go out on the field pre-game, you are going to have to stand for the national anthem. If you don't, then you stay in the locker room. But you can't protest of any kind. And I'm not sure what the ramifications are, like the penalty.
I think so. They were either talking about either 15-yard penalty or like fines. Okay. Which, I mean, those guys make tons of money anyway.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? I'm gonna fine you for all your money for the whole season. Why?
Yeah.
What if somebody's got a bad leg though? What if their leg hurts?
They just gotta get down. Don't find that guy. Yeah. And what if it's literally? What if it is what if somebody's for some frequent reason, because God has a sense of humor, like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, and he just gives out. He's just on his knee. They're just gonna find Aaron Rodgers.
Oh man, I gotta tie my shoe real quick.
Yeah.
But that would be crazy. But I don't know. Think about that. Let's say, did you see the video where it was the Eagles were playing a game? And they all were kneeling down. So what they did is they put old footage of them all standing for the national anthem.
I didn't see that.
I don't know if it was real or if it was just a video that was going around.
Yeah.
It was funny. They took the Eagles were playing somebody, but they were all lined up on the sideline.
Yeah.
And it's dude, this is from 4 seasons ago.
Said Dominic Knapp is still on that team.
It was crazy, man. But, think about that. Let's say, for example, every team decides, you know what? No, whatever. We'll take the fines. We'll take the penalties. What are you going to do, penalize everyone?
Yeah.
Doubt it. And everybody decides to kneel during the national anthem, or everybody decides to go to the locker room. Nobody's going to show up to the game for the national anthem.
Yeah. No, there's that one guy who just shows up to the national anthem.
Who takes his hand off.
Yeah, handler's hard. Once it leaves, he just bolts. He's like, I paid $400 for this ticket.
It's my favorite part of the game right here.
Yeah.
No, but I don't see that being a possibility. I think it's going to kind of ruin the whole spirit of the game of football. If you have multiple teams or multiple players in the locker room when the national anthem is being played, because that's kind of the hype moment. I'm ready for this game. Let's do this. The precursor to the battle between two teams, I feel like.
Yeah. And one thing I wonder is, who's going to take a stance, right? Are there going to be... I'm interested to see this, because, if when the season starts, are there going to be players who do take advantage of, hey, I am going to stay in the locker room because I don't agree with this? Or are there people who are going to be no, this rule is bullshit. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to protest the way I want to protest.
Right.
And I feel like they can, right? Because it's not like they're out there picketing. They're not coming out there with signs.
Nobody's being disrespectful.
Yeah, no one's bringing gangs up on here trying to protest stuff. They're literally just taking one knee for 3 minutes just to say, hey, I'm taking a stand against this. And so many people are trying to change the narrative or make it about them disrespecting troops when that's not the case. It's about them fighting for equality. And not have black people get murdered by police.
Right.
I pay for their salaries. I like not to get killed.
Not to be disrespectful or anything, but that's the truth. They get paid for taxpayer money.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and back to how you were saying they twist the whole meaning behind it. You know, it's people who feel they don't understand it. Going back to that whole communication aspect of it.
Yeah.
You don't understand what it's for, so how about you ask somebody instead of just assume what's going on? I don't know, okay, so example, yesterday was my mom's birthday.
Yeah.
Right? And I showed up to her house with my girlfriend, and so she has an alarm system. So I know the code to get in the front door, but I don't know the code to disarm the alarm when nobody's home.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to press it, and I'm like, I don't know it. So the alarm starts to go off, and they call the house to see if you're there.
Yeah.
I answered it. Anyway, like we started communicating, the alarm went off.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, well, I'll let them know we talked to you. It's all good. But the alarm kept going off, and I was like, oh, the police are probably going to come.
Yeah.
You know? It was a funny situation, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, great. I don't live here anymore.
Yeah.
People never see me. I'm just going to sit out on the front porch.
Yeah.
You know? But for example, if my role was reversed racially, like if I was a white person, I wouldn't have to worry about that. I wouldn't have to have that initial fear of like, crap, the cops are going to come. I hope they're cool people, and I hope I don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
You know? So, that's the whole meaning behind it, is the fact that when me and you walk out of the door, we always have that in the back of our mind, like, oh, I hope I don't get pulled over. I hope I don't get stopped and frisked and have somebody who's a complete dick to me and, like, indicts me for something that's not even, you know, like, reasonable. You know, like, we have to have that fear in the back of our mind and kind of adjust our surrounding because of incidents like what's his name, Alton Sterling, who he was getting choked on the ground, you know, or like the kid who was wearing a hoodie and he had Skittles in his pocket, and he got shot in the back by one of his neighbors. You know, like, I don't know, and I'm a friendly guy, you know, so people don't really see me as a threat, and I don't care what anybody's definition of black is, because it's cultural. It's not how you dress. It's not what you look like. It's not how you talk. None of that. You know, it's you wear it as an identity within yourself. You don't wear it on the outside. So I mean, like, and I wear different type of clothes as opposed to what people might think I should wear as a black individual. You know, so I feel like I'm kind of a lesser threat. But if I go to another neighborhood that I don't spend a whole lot of time in, or, you know, I go to a place that I've never been to before, or I meet a new group of family members or a new group of people, and they're kind of like, you know, like on the side where I'm like, ooh, I got to keep my guard up a second, you know, and see how they act. I feel like that's something nobody should have to live with.
Yeah, I agree. And, like, it is, like, a sort of, like, iffiness, like you're saying, like, wherever you've gone where, like, you haven't been there before, it's like you don't know how people are going to react. And, like, now it's just kind of, like, always in the back of my mind where, like, wherever I go, I don't know how people are going to treat me, because now it's just kind of, like, more mainstream, you know? And, like, and then, like, a lot of things people lose sight of about the kneeling is that the fact that Kaepernick started kneeling because he met with a veteran. Like, he
actually discussed it.
Yeah, he met a guy, wrote to him and said, like, hey, can we talk about this, or can we meet, and, you know, so we can get an understanding. Because, like, the very first time Kaepernick protested, he just sat on the bench. Like, he didn't kneel or anything. And when he met with the guy, he's like, okay, I understand your point of view and I understand what you're trying to do and I agree with it. So how about you take a knee, and that's more respectful. And, like, every time people talk about Kaepernick, that just gets lost sight of, right? Because they just care about something that they know nothing about. Like, they just care about, oh, he's disrespecting the flag and he's getting paid millions of dollars to play the game. And, like,
some people say just shut up and play the game. And
it's like,
all right, just shut up and do your job.
Like, why are you talking? Like, how about you shut the hell up? Like, doesn't matter if you get paid $20 or if you get paid $20 million. Like, you still have a voice in a country that is supposed to represent you. So if you feel like you're being discriminated against, or your group of people are being discriminated against, you have the right to say something. He doesn't get paid $20 million to stand there and listen to the national anthem. He gets paid $20 million to go out there and play games and win games.
And practice and try out.
And, like, and he also realizes that he has a platform that has the most eyes on him.
Well, and it's one of the most passive ones, too. You know, he, like you said, he's not out there picketing. A good example is, like, you go to a concert, right? Rap, country, rock, whatever. You have the lead singer or vocalist or lyricist up there preaching whatever the hell they want to preach. You know? Nobody comes and tells them to shut up and do their job. Or, you know, you shouldn't say that, or you're disrespecting this person or that person. Some songs are implicitly disrespecting things and topics and people, but nobody's over there, pointing fingers at them and saying, like, you can't say that, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Because it's freedom of speech. We live in a free country. We can exercise the freedom to do so because of the place we live in and because of the people who fight for our rights. And because of that, the fact that he met with a veteran, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you taught me something. The fact that he met with a veteran, that shows his mind is in a positive place. Yeah. And I guarantee you, he talked with his teammates. He talked with his coach.
Yeah.
Probably talked with some other people inside the organization too.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, you can't just go off of what you see if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, you should react to it.
Yeah.
But also kind of educate yourself on what the whole situation is about.
Yeah, and it's just and there's also been an outpouring from veterans and people who are former military who agree. Or people died protecting us and protecting the flag, so he could do that. That's the whole reason, is to protect freedom, right? So he can protest when the country is being unjust to him or to whoever. That's a liberty that he has, and that's the liberty that soldiers and airmen and Marines and everybody else died for. And to say to just shut up and play the game, it's that's not. I mean, you're just you're kind of want to be in a almost totalitarian state where you don't want anybody to do anything against the government. You just want propaganda and all this other
just
stuff.
Do what I say, follow the rules.
Yeah,
act like this is the best thing to do. That's not a way to live.
Yeah,
it's like having your parents tell you that you can't do whatever you want to do, even though they're you're 25.
Yeah,
I'm grown. Can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's what's even crazier, I think, is the fact that people twisted it and came up with the protest for that protest.
Yeah.
The whole Blue Lives Matter and stuff like that, and disrespecting the flag. I agree. I don't believe in the whole patriotism.
Yeah.
The United States is way more patriotic than any other country out there.
Yeah.
I think it's to the point that it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can be proud of where you're from.
Yeah.
Why not? Wear red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
On the whole month of July, or every year if you want. Every day, every year. But I don't feel the need to have a flag in the front yard everywhere or in the back of a truck. That's just kind of throwing it in people's face.
Yeah, and I think it's just it's back to the thing where you're free to do whatever you want to represent the country.
Mm-hmm.
He loves America just as much as you do. Just because he is not draped in an American flag, doesn't mean he doesn't love the country, and because he has bone to pick because America is not perfect.
Right.
No place is perfect. Doesn't mean he can't address those issues.
Yeah.
Well,
and the fact that he's even, you said, he loves the country so much, he's wanting to point out the injustice.
Yeah.
Some people are just, whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's trying to show you, no, man, this is why I do it, and I'm gonna keep doing it until this stops or it diminishes slowly,
Yeah. And because he did that, he's essentially lost his job because no one signed him last year to be on their team. No one's signing him this year to be on their team. So he's essentially just been ostracized from the NFL.
And that's weird too, because it's almost if you don't do what people expect you to do, you're not welcome.
Yeah, that's definitely like that, and especially the NFL in particular, because they are owners and they care about their bottom line and what represents, and kind of pandering to that group of people and pandering to the president. And so it's pretty much collusion almost, that they're just keeping him out of the league.
Yeah. Because
he is better than some of the starting quarterbacks that are playing right now. So it's that's really odd that nobody would want to sign him for him to come play there. And it's just, I wish that, more people got the facts right and understood it, and just not expect black athletes just to be one thing.
Right.
Because that's all they want, right? Is that they just want you to play your sport and just do that. But I just feel because there hasn't been like a need for a white male athlete
right.
to fight injustice on anything, that no one ever goes after them. But like, if it was Aaron Rodgers or if this was JJ Watt or whoever, they wouldn't care.
Well, and like, I mean, going back to like, you know, back when there were slaves and slave owners and stuff, like they practiced eugenics, you know?
Yeah.
So the fact that, you know, that most black people are in sports is because of the history that we're brought up in, you know? And so if you're not going to represent a group of people that are the majority of the sports entertainment, then why would they want to play for you? Why would they want to listen to your rules and follow that if they're not represented in the right light? You know?
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of brings me back to probably about 10, 11 years ago. There was this book called $40 Million Slaves, which
I think we talked about this at work one day.
Yeah, it's the same like thing where it's like in sports you have owners of the teams and like pretty much, you know, the owners are in control of your employment fate, right? So they can trade you, they can release you, they can cut you, unless you're like at the pinnacle of your sport, like you're LeBron or you're Kobe or you're Michael. Like you have the leverage then, right? You can go wherever you want, pretty much do whatever you want. But for 90% of the league, they don't have that same type of leverage in whatever sport they're playing, and they are paid millions of dollars. But in many lights, there's so many like restrictions on them, right? If you even look at like their contracts and how many like oh, well, you can't play sports in like the off season and like can't ride motorcycles or do like other stuff
that
sure
you don't hurt yourself,
and stuff like that, and just how much not in control you are. And then for them to say that, oh, we see that like this is important to you and like your race of people are being objectified and murdered in the streets, but you can't do anything about it. And you can't say anything about it. And I just think that is just kind of feeds into like just like a modern day kind of slave mentality where like, you know, we have all these white owners who control the NFL, where the NFL is majority black, and just kind of saying what these players can and can't do. And I think unless you are black, it's hard for you to see that because you just don't understand. Like how that perspective can come to be, because your perspective is, oh, these guys are just $1 million players who get to play
and like make me money essentially, you know.
Exactly. And people want to go out and say like, oh, LeBron's being a crybaby, or, you know, whoever is being a crybaby when they're not. They're just standing up for what they believe in, and like that should be acceptable. Like that shouldn't be an issue.
I agree with that entirely, because they have a platform that they're able to use their position to illustrate not just the injustices, but a way to solve it. You know, and the fact that they're able to do that, or I mean, they used to be able to in the NFL. You know, and people are still like talking crap on them. I think that's messed up. Like, if anything, you should help, or at least try to understand where they're coming from, so then you can educate people around you why they do it, and they can educate someone else. You know, like each one teach one style mentality, and then that problem will start to kind of wash itself away, as opposed to pointing fingers and saying, I don't agree with this. And you know what it is people don't understand it. So they're afraid of it. They're like, what is this? I don't get this. And then they're quick to just dismiss it.
And it's a refusal to understand or see another side of it. Or even like you said, like try to educate themselves on what's going on. Like they don't care. And I get there's two sides to every story. Like people have their own perspective, and I have my perspective. But it doesn't mean that we can't recognize blatant issues that are out there.
Like at least be open-minded about it. You know, like you don't have to, like we were talking about earlier, you don't have to agree with this opinion. You don't have to agree with that opinion. You have your own. You could even tell it to somebody. But be open-minded and be respectful about it. You know,
exactly. And just like going back to like a modern day slave mentality with all these people saying, oh, just shut up and play your sport or whatever, we don't care what you think. It's just like, that's like what slaves didn't have a voice. The same thing. Like, we don't care what you're doing, just pick the cotton.
Right.
And like, they didn't have a voice, and that's just kind of what people want from us, is just to shut up and not have a voice. Like, and it's just like in this age, that's not gonna happen.
No.
Like, it's
no. Well, and it's been what, almost not 400 years.
It's probably been.
It's been a long time.
I don't think it's been that. It's probably been like 200 years, maybe.
I think you're right. Anyway,
yeah.
But like, it's been that long, and people still have this like mentality that certain people should just do what they're supposed to do, and it's like, why do you have to pigeonhole someone's position?
Yeah.
Why do you have to stereotype this whole situation?
Yeah.
And the facts are facts. Like, the fact is, people are being treated unjustly.
Yeah.
And no one's doing anything about it.
Yeah.
So the moment someone does something extremely passive for 2 years, everybody gets upset, disgruntled, and feels like something should change. And then you're going to implement this policy. Hopefully it does something.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't do anything, then you look like the idiot because you put this policy into place.
Yeah.
And, if it works, cool. If it doesn't, cool. We'll figure out a different solution. But,
yeah, and I think, too, even if guys aren't, like, getting on a knee, just taking a fine or whatever it is,
mm-hmm.
you'll probably find some other way to protest, right? Like, every game, someone's going to be in their face with a mic.
Mm-hmm.
And so they could just say, hey, don't kill black people.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I didn't know you're going to start finding them for that, too. It's like, how far is it going to go? Every time they figure out a new way to protest something that's unjust, how far is the league going to go to silence their voice?
Right.
And so it'll be interesting to see the season and how everything plays out.
Yeah, it'll be nuts. Hopefully there's a lot of good games this season.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It'll be interesting for sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't feel any type of way about it. I feel like it's kind of a dumb way to go about it.
Yes.
But, I mean, if I was in if I was in their position and, like, sitting on the committee or whatever, and I'd be like, nah, that's not a good idea. That seems dumb.
Yeah.
Why don't we just let them do what they want to do?
Yeah.
Like you said, man, like, and like a lot of veterans agree with it too. Like, we're able to do that. They fight for our right to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying do that whole challenge thing where you put the flag on the ground and stand on it. That's blatant disrespect.
Yeah.
You might as well put a racial slur on Twitter and send it. Hopefully you don't get fired.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just people are weird, man.
Yeah.
People are real weird.
For sure. Well, that does it for this episode of Free Cake. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Put out a Facebook page, so go please like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also put out a Twitter handle. It's called Free Cake Cast. So just go on Twitter and search at Free Cake Cast. And then also just like, subscribe, share this with everybody anybody who you think would be interested in it. Leave suggestions, hit us up on Twitter, and everything else.
Join the conversation. Let us know how you guys feel about it, what you guys have to add. Even if you disagree, we'll respect all opinions, man.
Yeah.
Just let us know. Be part of it.
Yeah, definitely. So till next time, take it easy.